Alright, so today we're diving into the life of a very unique individual, Christopher Weston Chandler. Also known as Chris Chan, born on February 24th, 1982 in Charlottesville, Virginia, Chris's journey is quite the roller coaster filled with ups and downs and many unexpected turns. Now, the early years of Chris's life were interesting. His parents, Robert and Barbara, had regular jobs, with his dad working as an engineer and his mom in an office at Virginia Power. Not much is known about Chris's toddlerhood, but it's revealed that his linguistic abilities were a bit subpar, a sign of his autism. Now, legend has it that his first word was monkey at just 6 weeks old. Yeah, I know, pretty impressive, right? Even though, scientifically speaking, it's a bit unlikely, Chris remains proud of it to this day. But it's important to note, Christian's childhood wasn't always good. An abusive babysitter locked him in a toy room, which Chris found immensely traumatizing. And here's the kicker. He later identified this as the source of his autism. Wishful thinking, Christian, considering autism is generally genetic, not triggered by incidents like that. Between the ages of 1 and 7, Chris didn't speak at all. He had to attend speech therapy at James Madison University, where he made his first male friend, Joshua Martinez. The doctor predicted Chris might not even make it to high school, but guess what? Chris proved him wrong. Now, fast forward to the 1990s, Chris spent 4th grade at the Nathaniel Green Elementary School until a mysterious dispute led to his parents pulling him out. He claimed that he was restrained and made to sit on the principal's lap, which supposedly sparked his homophobia. Court battles ensued, and Chris Chan was homeschooled during the 5th grade. Then came the animatronic bear Leonard Verstein, who hilariously misheard Chris's name as Christian, convincing him to legally change it. When legal options ran out, Chris and his dad moved to Richmond for a fresh start in the 6th grade at Providence Middle School. Despite being bullied, Chris found support in his teacher, Virginia Janine Sanford, who helped him develop social skills and cope with bullying. He even described her as the most influential person in his life. At age 11, Chris entered and won the Sonic the Hedgehog Watch and Win sweepstakes, scoring a $1,000 shopping spree on his 12th birthday. Local news covered the event, focusing on Chris's autism as a notable aspect. The incident is often considered the starting point of Chris using his autism for special treatment and his enduring love for toys and video games. Let's talk about Chris's high school and post-high school escapades. During his high school years, Chris spent a lot of time doing what most teenagers do, playing video games, reading Goosebumps novels, and hanging out with his gal pals and friends at school. Turns out, some of these gal pals were arranged friendships, but hey, who doesn't arrange their friendships, right? This is when Chris first unleashed his creative talents with the invention of Bionic the Hedgehog and Sonichu. The latter was crafted for a class project because using copyrighted characters was a no-go. The irony here is that Chris essentially merged 2 copyrighted characters into a new one, but well, we'll let that slide for now. Chris claimed to have been on the honor roll during high school, and even acquired the true source of his power, his Amnifest ring. However, his high school graduation didn't go as planned. Devastated that he didn't get the R award he wanted, Chris stormed out crying, convinced he deserved it more because of his hard work, autism, and all. He also feared the impending doom of adulthood, a phase his parents hadn't properly prepared him for. After leaving high school, and what he considered the happiest years of his life, Chris struggled to progress in other aspects of his life. Instead, he found himself trapped in a childish year 2000 time status, clinging to the belief that what worked for him back then would attract female companions now. Entering Piedmont, Virginia Community College, PVCC, brought some change. Chris took courses in computer-aided drafting and design, dedicated more time to Sonichu. However, he started losing touch with his high school gal pals, and his social life at PVCC wasn't as vibrant. Chris decided he needed a sweetheart in 2003, launching his infamous love quest. Chris, desperate for love, employed various bizarre methods to attract women, including holding a sign declaring his single status. Unfortunately, his strategy only got him in trouble with authority figures, leading to conflicts with the PVCC dean, Mary Lee Walsh. After several confrontations, Walsh expelled Chris for a year in 2004. Post-college life saw Chris dropping out of society, focusing on finding a boyfriend-free girl, drawing Sonichu, and spending welfare money on video games and sex toys. Despite obtaining an associate's degree in 2006, Chris made no serious attempts at a career. In 2005, Chris met Megan Schroeder, a fellow social outcast, at a local game shop. They became close friends, but Chris's romantic interests created tension. Chris, inspired by questionable sources, believed inappropriate advances were the key to turning Megan's feelings romantic. The infamous Parappa the Rapper contest in 2007, aimed at winning prizes and a trip for two to Seattle, ended in disaster as he lost and learned Megan wouldn't have gone with him even if he had won. During the Love Quest, Chris launched Sonichu, intended to focus on his electric hedgehog Pokemon, but unwittingly turning the spotlight on his own romantic misadventures. Now, let's delve into the chapter of Chris's life where his online presence took an unexpected turn. You see, Chris's rare talent, or pathology, was brought into the limelight when an anonymous picture of Sonichu resurfaced on 4chan. This discovery set off a chain reaction that forever altered Chris's existence. In October 2007, something awful stumbled upon Chris's story, creating a thread on Chris and Sonichu. Chris's life soon spilled onto Encyclopedia Dramatica in November 2007. This marked the beginning of a turbulent era for Chris, a time when he bore some responsibility for the twists and turns his life would take. Upon discovering the Christian article on Encyclopedia Dramatica, Chris attempted to diplomatically convince the site to remove it through a YouTube video. When that failed, he resorted to vandalizing the article, hoping to overwhelm his enemies. However, this backfired spectacularly. In his attempt to outshine the trolls, Chris unintentionally revealed embarrassing information, including a portrait of himself and Megan, ruining a crucial relationship at the time. By spring 2008, Chris faced consequences, getting banned from both his favorite hangout and his parents' church, partially due to revelations from the ED article. In August 2007, Chris declared war on Encyclopedia Dramatica through a series of videos, threatening to withhold the publication of Sonichu 7 unless his fanbase forced ED to remove the Christian article. Chris claimed victory when ED suffered unrelated outages, ironically setting the stage for constant trolling for years to come. This initiated a never-ending cycle where Chris produced videos, comics, and schemes to attack trolls, inviting more trolling and revealing personal information about himself. The fall of 2008 briefly disrupted the cycle, when Chris sent his medallions to his fake internet girlfriend, resulting in heartbreak and reduced output. During this time, ED cracked down on trolls discussing Chris, creating a division on whether the harassment was amusing or tiresome. Trolls assumed various roles, controlling aspects of Chris's life by posing as fans, enemies, and business partners. Chris's naivety embraced this disoriented reality where everyone had ulterior motives and trolls denoted major life events as sagas. As trolls gained control, Chris's mental health and social life suffered. Realizing the detrimental effects of his online presence, Chris began reducing his online activities and distancing himself from Sonichu medallions and clown shirts. In November 2010, Chris declared he would no longer socialize online or publish videos, removing most of his YouTube content. Initially, it seemed like a positive lifestyle change, but Chris couldn't resist the allure of the internet. Instead of investing time in self-improvement, Chris returned to old habits, playing video games and engaging with trolls. Although his presentation changed in August 2011, it became evident that Chris's online struggles persisted. Now let's explore the most dramatic shift in Chris's life: his open embrace of cross-dressing and femininity. In 2011, Chris revealed himself as a full-blown cross-dresser, or as he likes to call it, a tomgirl. Surprisingly, he fully embraced this new identity both at home and in public, reconciling it with his previous homophobic, transphobic, and purported heterosexuality. While initially treated as just another saga, this behavior became deeply entrenched and intensified in late 2014 and the following years. As mentioned earlier, Chris gradually walked back his anti-LGBT stances during this period. In September 2011, tragedy struck as Chris's father passed away from heart failure. Chris continued living with his widowed mother, his sole source of income. Considering his mother's age and declining health, the future appeared uncertain. Following his father's death, Chris's interactions with trolls dwindled, and he entered a deep depression, exacerbated by later losing his home to a fire and facing financial difficulties. Many trolls questioned whether Chris could handle further trolling, given his changed demeanor. The era of Chris-chan, the bellicose, striped-shirted man-child, seemed to be over. Surviving Chandlers became magnets for drama in their neighborhood. In October 2011, Chris and Barb faced legal issues, including charges for trespassing, assault, and failure to stop by an accident. The charges against Chris were dropped, but both faced felony trials, using much of Bob's inheritance for legal expenses. While awaiting trial, Chris, fearing he might die a virgin if imprisoned, sought ways to have a sexual encounter. In April 2012, he claimed to have lost his virginity, which turned out to be true, albeit with a prostitute. Despite legal troubles, 2012 remained uneventful for Chris, possibly due to reduced online activity. In 2013, Chris's online presence shifted to Facebook and Twitter rants, causing real-life conflicts. He blamed others for his shortcomings, left his church, upset friends with homophobia, and got expelled from a Walmart for vandalism. Chris complained about stress affecting his health. In 2013, Chris's high school gal pals distanced themselves, having tolerated him out of pity. Chris's mis-series at the time were largely consequences of his own behavior, something he failed to realize. 2013 saw the rise of new white knights offering advice, but Chris ignored constructive input. His flagrant disrespect for people and ideas around him resulted in exile and loneliness. Chris failed to connect his behavior with the consequences he faced. In January 2014, an extension cord caused a house fire, leading to the death of a Chandler cat and significant damages. Chris and his mother faced financial difficulties, exacerbated by existing income issues. Instead of resolving debt, Chris spent his money on toys, commissions, and autographed photos. In July, Chris was catfished by a new sweetheart, Catherine, who recorded his conversations. The relationship lasted through the year, revealing details about Chris's life and mindset. During this time, he began identifying as a lesbian and attended LGBTQ events, eventually transitioning. Early December 2014, Chris took a significant step in his life by requesting those close to him to use female pronouns. This marked her transition from being a crossdresser to identifying as transgender. However, the transition began with controversy when Chris violated a ban, assaulting a GameStop employee on Boxing Day. She used mace on the store's assistant manager, showcasing a lack of remorse or a learning curve. A subsequent incident at Walmart led to Chris spending a night in jail after legal proceedings. She received a $541 fine and a 6-month suspended sentence. Throughout 2015, Chris showed signs of personal development, distancing herself from traditional bigotry towards men and homosexuals. While maintaining her peculiar crusade against Sega and dramatizing experiences with trolls, she displayed a growing self-awareness, grappling with questions about her sexuality and identity. Chris fluctuated between wanting to remain a crossdresser and considering transitioning into womanhood. In 2016, Chris continued with sequels to her previous creations such as Chris's Specimen Sample and Lesbian Sex Audition. The financial crisis unfolded as Barb faced lawsuits from two banks, triggering a period of financial strain. Chris, banned from Etsy for failing to fulfill orders, continued begging for money while blaming external factors. Chris's Oedipal complex took on a disturbing turn as she openly shared dreams about having sex with her mother. She also made death threats against political figures, adding another layer to her troubled behavior. In 2017, the financial crisis persisted, forcing Chris to sell family possessions and seek financial aid. In March, Chris re-engaged with Twitter, leading to the Doopie saga, where she faced criticism for her interactions with voice actresses. Joining the Kiwi Farms forum briefly under the name Legendary Christorian, she held a Q&A session, attending events like BronyCon, UVA Remembers, Pulse, and Seville Pride. Chris enjoyed attention and even had interviews with local news. The business saga resumed in 2017 as Chris worked on Sonichu number 11, placed pages behind Patreon, and offered books for sale. She completed number 11 after 8 years and began working on number 12 and 15. Despite her artistic pursuits, Chris faced challenges on Patreon, leading to patron complaints. In the fall of 2017, a new sweetheart saga unfolded with Jessica Quinn, a former white knight turned troll. Quinn pretended to fall in love with Chris, leading to a breakup that evoked tears and rage on camera. Chris's swift recovery involved drowning her sorrows at an ice cream shop. In a bizarre turn of events, Chris, assuming the persona of Sonichu, delved into a fantastical narrative about dimensional merge in the Omega timeline. Claiming to go back in time to return her body to her mother at BabsCon, Chris professed admiration for the goddess-level powers and abilities of the OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu of Earths 1218 and C197. She expressed reverence and bestowed praise upon her, acknowledging the uniqueness of her tailored body and divine capabilities. Chris's vulnerability was exploited by the Idea Guys, who played a significant role in shaping her beliefs. Under their influence, Chris adopted various delusions, including bisexuality and being half Sonichu. These fabrications contributed to the development of a messiah complex rooted in distorted understandings of reality and lore from hyperdimension Neptunia. Upon learning of the Idea Guys' extortion, the Captain, Marvin, and Null intervened to remove them from Chris's life. However, the damage had already been done, and Chris retained much of the idea guy's brainwashing. The guard dogs, a group formed to protect Chris, faced challenges as Chris's fantasies deepened, and the Teen Troon Squad influenced her in person. Despite their efforts, Chris retreated further into her fantasy world, particularly under the influence of Jacob Sockness, who sought to exploit her sexually. Throughout these tumultuous events, Chris's unwavering belief in the dimensional merge persisted. Despite failed prophecies and the impact of COVID-19, she clung to the idea that the merge was progressing. The cancellation of BabsCon led Chris to embark on a bizarre coping scheme, role-playing as Sanchu for nearly 11 months until a personal intervention on February 25th, 2021. Chris's appearance visibly aged during this period, marked by gray hairs, apparent weight loss, and declining muscular mass. Hormone treatment for gender dysphoria, coupled with unhealthy lifestyle choices like excessive drinking and occasional marijuana use, contributed to her deteriorating physical health. Enablers like Larry Vaughn, Kawhi Sandbag, and Prater, seeking to exploit her infamy, continued to influence her. The Watchmen, an enabler group, splintered due to internal conflicts among its members. Now, in another shocking turn of events, a deep fake of Mr. Matoker surfaced, mocking Chris for her purported achievements of the dimensional merge and sarcastically applauding her alleged personal growth. The mockery took a dark turn as it alluded to Chris's impending incarceration, anticipating the challenges of reality contrasting with her fantasy land. By 2021, Chris's life had taken a dark turn. Reduced online activity, financial troubles, and increasing debt painted a grim picture. Speculations arose about her future, with concerns about potential homelessness and employability. A brief glimmer of hope emerged when Chris reconciled with Null, engaging in commission work and appearing to sustain herself through self-employment. The narrative took a dark twist on July 27, 2021, when Chris engaged in a video call with Bella, bragging about committing incestuous acts with her mother. Bella recorded the call, leading to widespread public outrage and legal consequences. This revelation shattered Chris's semblance of normalcy, resulting in protective custody, eviction from her home, and a ban from the convention she hoped to attend. Null severed ties with Chris, recognizing the severity of the situation. Chris was arrested on August 1, 2021, amidst live-streamed events. The revelation and subsequent fallout led Chris to losing support from associates, a ban from conventions, and the closure of her Patreon account. Media coverage, including a segment on Fox News, thrust Chris into the spotlight, attracting new audiences and rekindling interest in her tumultuous life. Chris spent months in jail awaiting a court hearing. Delusions of godhood intensified, with Chris believing herself to be Jesus and the dimensional merge proceeding as planned. Protective custody and communication with the outside world revealed her deteriorating mental state. Transferred to a mental institution and back to jail, Chris faced scrutiny for her refusal to confront reality. On July 28, 2022, Chris's court hearing took place, determining the case would go before a grand jury for at least one felony charge. Legal maneuvers, including a motion for autism disorder deferred to deposition, added complexity to the case. Chris's lawyer successfully convinced the court to seal the case, leaving many details unknown. Beware all toxic haters, sinners, and darkest demonics, for I am Jesus Christine Weston Chandler Sanchu, the goddess of Blueheart, and your Lord and God. And I bring personally the second coming. Excerpt from Holy Jesus Christ Chan Sanchu Prime, posted on DeviantArt in August 2023. Chris temporarily resided at Gateway Homes under deferred disposition conditions. In April 2023, she vanished from the public eye. Resurfacing in May, sightings in Chesterfield County showed Chris engaging in everyday activities. Despite initial hopes for improvement, Chris's behavior raised concerns, further confirmed when she signed a receipt as J. Christ Chan Sonichu. By June 2023, Kate and Peck and LLC acquired a property in Big Island, Virginia, where Chris eventually moved. In August 2023, with her case marked Resolved Order pending, Chris reemerged online, activity participating in various platforms, receiving support from enablers and white knights. On August 23, 2023, Chris made a notable return to social media, posting on DeviantArt. She shared previously unseen art, new Sanchu comics, and custom Twilight Sparkle secret shipfic folder cards, signaling a renewed online presence. On August 25th, 2023, just 2 days after her online return, Chris's case was entirely dismissed, making her a free woman. While opinions on the justice system's leniency varied, many awaited Chris's next move. She was spotted at 14 Branchland Court, and the house appeared empty days later. By October 16, 2023, Chris fully re-engaged with the internet, uploading a bizarre video of herself singing Pokemon 2BA Master Album parodies in front of a green screen. Prater likely assisted with video editing. In subsequent uploads, Chris addressed her side of the story, denied inappropriate acts with Barb, shared delusions of being Jesus Christ reincarnated, and introduced a woman named Flutter. Chris embraced live streaming, playing games while receiving donations and messages from Weens. Despite earning money, her reputation attracted controversy. In January 2024, she attended a convention, escorted out on the second day, likely due to her infamous status. As of now, Chris remains elusive, maintaining a low profile while outsiders observe her peculiar life.